Good morning, beautiful souls. It's Teresa Coutman, and it is the 15th of September. And I'm going to go over the yesterday's draw. It's almost over. The guidance was for 10 a.m. yesterday till 10 a.m. today. And then I'll have the new draw in this recording. So here is the energy that we have right now. Just going to work its way through. And so from 10 a.m. yesterday, here we are at, let's see, where are we? This is about 5 p.m. This was 8 p.m. It ends about 2. We had some action here at 11. So why we slept is all this stuff here. And I assume it's going to go on for that. I have no idea. It doesn't feel like it's different from this of last night. My dreams, I had a little more clarity in my dreams, but still they're not up into my conscious mind clearly. So some fog, maybe just all this energy. Very, again, sword-like energy. Not a good time for me. And I think yesterday's draw was really interesting about, even though we might have all these things, we might have to leave them. There's a separation kind of happening right now. And you may have to leave friends, family, places where you live or work, based on your beliefs. And that's really sad that we've gotten to this far, but I cannot fathom living even in a country where my belief system can get me publicly executed. And when my main belief for to have guns, Second Amendment, is the Constitution. So all these people clamoring for it are enemies to the Constitution. And that's just that. And a lot of people just celebrate that and say, yeah, they want to undo the Constitution and be more like Venezuela, some other banana republic. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to stop that. So, and the first thing in my power is to let everybody know. Because before I held on secretly to my beliefs, thinking, yeah, let's just go along to get along. They have their belief system, I have mine. We can agree to disagree. But now, this public execution, I heard someone say today that God allowed this so we can see what has come of this movement, this party, this indoctrination. I don't know what to call it. It seems to me like it is some sort of a radicalization. And someone put a video of Hezbollah dancing about 9/11 and about other murders. And this is like neo-Hezbollah. When people do this, it's just really sad. So this energy is really cutting right now. And yesterday it showed us that there would be deception. Our challenge card. Are we being deceived? Someone else is deceiving us. So there's a lot of deception happening, a lot of infighting. It was not a good reading yesterday, and today is only worse. I'm sorry to say. But however, it might have more, less banter and more coming to a conclusion, like what am I going to do with this information that the collective has now about each other, family, friends. And I heard somebody say they don't want to know how their family or friends feel about it. I think you do. You really do need to know. And I ask in the most simplest manner of coming from my heart, coming from my tarot reading on the 10th that showed our joy would be. The challenge was joy on that day. And the 4 was the fates, or the Wheel of Fortune. And the first card was the moon. So 3 out of 4 of the draw was major arcana, and those were the major arcana. And the 9 of Pentacles was the vibration. So that maybe was the vibration of those who were happy about it. It was a very strange reading. And in that reading, I said that something may happen in the collective, we'll see, that's going to affect the collective. And that really did affect the whole collective in Western culture around the world. And it will be, I think, a separation point. And I always thought, the Bible talks about separation of the wheat and tares. God's going to separate them to the right and to the left. And you think, okay, but it's not like that. It's not like God's doing that. And, in those kind of senses, but it's in our heart to separate because things are so bad and you can't live in a place where you can't even wear a t-shirt, wear a cross, wear a hat, and violence will be acted out upon you. And that is wrong. I'm not a Nazi. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. He's the first president that ever did anything that he promised. He's a populist president. He used to be a New York Democrat. But he upset both sides. He upset the Uniparty. And that's what people were, and many still are. I still don't trust Ted Cruz. There's a whole bunch of people, because they're in with Goldman Sachs. I don't totally trust Donald Trump, but we'll see. I don't think there's anything totally different than what he's done. He has done less war than all the past presidents, but he just did that bombing in Iran. But that was a nuclear strike just to make sure we do not need nuclear bombs going off anywhere. And do I trust Iran not to do that? I do not. I do not trust Iran. Do I trust Israel not to do a nuke? I do, unless one's thrown at them. So I do trust the Israeli government not to do a nuke. But they have done bad things. And October 7th, 9/11, could be some of the same kind of things going on from the deep state and actors not acting in our best interest. And some people say, it's in your best interest if it keeps the United States rich. And it's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want wealth and riches at the cost of war. Oh, that said, let's get into today's drawing. Try to be happy, but honestly, in your own family, find out. So I found out I'm going to be leaving 2 children behind. 2 children don't want to leave here and are glad and celebrating about Charlie Kirk because of the gun. All the children shot by guns in no gun zones. Yeah, no gun zones are not safe. They're not safe in America. A janitor, our vets, trusted vets, could have concealed carry. Teachers. Some people say a safe, but a safe isn't quick enough. You need it on your body, ready to go. Lock and load. So ask. With my one son, he's just in the other room, and I have now started these videos so I can hear him on his computer. I already knew, that he's been radicalized already. He thinks he's trans. Never one, like rapid onset dysphoria. Okay, roll my eyes. They're creating these monsters and these people that don't know who they are. Shellless humans. And they need other shellless humans in order to feel good about themselves. They can't have anybody hurting their feelings or saying what they're doing is hurting them and harming them, and that they should stop. I won't allow any. I'm going to get more and more. If you live in my house, I'm going to do checks now because I'm afraid for my safety. If you can cheer on something like what happened to Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. I am probably worse in my beliefs. And I am not going to stop saying those beliefs. I do believe in the Second Amendment. I do believe in the Constitution. I do believe it's been perverted and usurped. And I don't believe in burning my flag, but I believe in flying it upside down. We are not in control over what's going on. With the wars, with the money, there's no control from the people. And that's what the people want. That's what the Tea Party's all been about. You know, the movement and Occupy. And the Tea Party and the Occupy were so similar in their beliefs. I could totally agree with everything the Occupy Wall Street said. All their grievances, right, yes, wrong. It's not fair. It's not a fair playing field. It's traumatizing people, all people, and or most people. Let's say most people, because even like the middle class is being traumatized little by little. It's being sucked away from us. And but their solution is get the government to do something. Give them more money to waste and to squander? No, we need accountability. That's what we need in our government, and less, less departments and new agencies. There's probably so many we don't even know of. It's just insane. So, and I can live with that difference of opinion that I would have with, say, the Occupy Wall Street crowd. And I would never, ever think to kill them. And I don't know if they're the same people that want to kill us now, want us all dead, Charlie Kirk's whole family, power company CEO, more CEOs. And the answer really is, here's the libertarians' answers trying to do things, is to have parallel communities. I do like some of the things, like New Hampshire's a state. I know it's like half and half, probably like here. I don't know exactly. But they don't have corporate farming as much, and they have like a really good access to organic foods. So those are some of the things I'm looking for. I don't even want to look for things that people who think exactly like me. Yeah, I'm a libertarian. I am a Christian. I like to read tarot cards and dabble with spiritual things that some people say will send me to hell. I don't believe that, but I can live with that. I can go to church and have my beliefs and feel like I'm safe and I'm accepted. And I can feel like I want to feel like I can go to new agey places and feel like I'm accepted. But I don't know if these people who say they're inclusive they're just inclusive for people they think are abused by others or victims, or I don't know. But I don't feel like they're inclusive to others, such as myself. White males, they are probably more a target. And maybe the age that these young people are who thinks they're trans were at a stage when COVID happened and isolation and on computers and parents stressed out and they were allowed to be radicalized. So children of young parents of children, make sure your children aren't isolated on chat rooms and with others. They will lead them astray. I don't think there's very many good ones out there. So with that, look at this. And the chat rooms feel also playing games together, so you need to know that. I would like, from a very young age, just starting them knowing that you're going to be watching what they talk about. There's going to be a log, and that's what parents really need, is access to that kind of information, so they know they're being parented even when they're online. So how are we going to get that? I don't know, but I don't think it's up to the government to parent us. It's up to the government to help us find tools so we can parent our children. So there's some of that going on too with the we all have to get ID because of the children before we can get online. No, we should have tools that we can parent our children. Tools to allow us blocking and all those things with our routers and make it easy, accessible, maybe standardize in the industry. So if we've used one router and did it, we could use another and have the same kind of software and features. And maybe as the internet as a public utility, I don't know, that gives like power to the already corrupt, probably. Okay, so here's this chart. So that will be finished. My tarot reading for this period will be done at 10 a.m. and my new guidance will start at 10 a.m. this morning, 9:15. Let me turn that off. Turn off. This was yesterday's. So the foundation was, I think this was right on for me. People got a piece of my mind. I don't know if anybody out there felt that. It was fast, it was swift, and I felt it was the truth of my heart. And it is what it is. And, you know, the challenge probably was not to be deceived, or, you know, are you being deceived? And I went over with one of my family members who tried to make everything okay. He's really a sweet kid. And, you know, he said some things, and I'll give him that. I do not like the bombing of Iran. But that does no way make our president a Nazi. So many people have bombed so much. You know, the Obama administration, our president, they're not. I don't. You know, I can't say I'm a foreign expert or anything. So, you know, in some ways you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. I really thought the Afghanistan stuff was a total, complete failure, though, from the Biden administration, leaving all those weapons there. Failure. Almost like a purpose failure, and that really makes me sad. That stuff like that can happen. So that was the draw for yesterday, and the hidden energy was just that argumentative and difference of opinions. But this is usually petty, and it doesn't feel petty to me right now, where I feel like I need to move state. It doesn't feel petty when I feel fear of violence against me. People hate me, excluding me, don't want me in the public square. I know that's not every state, but in this state, in Seattle area, yeah, I can't wear a hat in places in Seattle, or t-shirt, or anything that shows my allegiance. In fact, even a cross can get you discriminated against if you wear a cross necklace. So, with that said, yeah, it was a tough day yesterday. It's been a tough week. I didn't do a weekly recap because it was a tough day yesterday and a tough week for me. And that makes it harder for me to do this work. And I want to. So I should get busy on a weekly. Because it was a very, very important week, and I want to top it off and have a hash out of what it all meant. So that was yesterday's, and still on until 9 a.m. I'm sorry, 10 a.m. today. And we can go to today's draw. Which I think is very interesting. There's two major arcanas. So it's serious business what we're going through right now. So, excuse me. Okay, so yesterday's set the stage to move into deeper structures. What was quick and restless yesterday now turns towards institutions, control, and endings. That's serious. So our foundation is the Hierophant, and this is an energy that craves. structure, culture. And I just thought it was interesting, the Liz Houston's, the Greenkeeper's Tarot, her her take on some of these cards. So the Hierophant represents spiritual authority, holder of faith and traditions, revealer of the sacred. Keywords: tradition, education, conformity, group identity, spiritual intermediary. When it appears in a reading, she's a sign of authority and may be symbolic of an established, well-worn traditional path, one you are expected to follow. So we have a lot of people that expect the Constitution to be followed. And we expect people to respect it. And it hasn't been respected by our leaders with the amendments and the Federal Reserve Act and some of these things that have the 17th Amendment, making that you can buy the senators also, the House reps. We're supposed to, the people elect them. The senators are supposed to be appointed by our state legislatures to balance the powers. So that check has been gone. The money check is gone. So that's why the Constitution is not working. Okay, so this is an interesting card to be our foundation today. Very interesting. So with that was the Hierophant. And the Emperor is another one that is the next one. So, okay, so it says if you're engaged with a certain social cause or have a long-standing allegiance to one, she may be asking you to examine your commitment. She may rise to confront you with your own conformity. So are we conforming just for conformity's sake and not even really our beliefs? And this week we're being asked, I think, to make a decision. What do we believe? Do we want to continue to have the Constitution, or do we want a Marxist communist overthrow? What do we want? That's what we can choose, because it'll be violent. It's already starting, the violence, the overthrow of elected officials and people who are associated with an elected official. A very effective person within our party was executed in public, assassinated. That's Banana Republic stuff. That's Marxist overthrow stuff. So people should be fearful and take a side. You're going to have to. And the next card doesn't get much better than this. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, with where the collective's at. So the next card is the Emperor. I know, my gosh, my camera is so bad and my lighting. And I need to work on things, but I also have to work on moving. Okay, so the Emperor, it's interesting. I even highlighted some of it because this is just so good. Looming and imposing figure, people who manifest Emperor energy can be comforting and relaxing to those who like authority. I like structure. I think our federal government should have a lot of authority and good authority, and that's just what I think. And then the states can argue it up and have as much power with the federal government. But our government needs to have structure to run efficiently and to have strong people in leadership. And yet, the same energy can be stifling and debilitating for those who mistrust or fear authority. And I mistrust and I fear authority big time. But I feel that if things are being done that's for the betterment of the country, I feel, and are in line with the Constitution, and I feel that I feel safety, some safety with authority, or to trust a little bit. So yeah, I'm a little bit trusting, a little bit not. So I'm kind of like on the fence and wishy-washy about things. But people with this energy, they tend to like things neat and tidy. They will not stop until everything is in order. From the living room to the State of the Union. These people want order. Donald Trump wants order and structure in our government and accountability. That's what I want. To the State of the Union, to their career path. There are times when we need his direction, self-control, and agreed upon ways of being together in the world so that we help and not harm each other. This is an awesome card for our root and what the collective is feeling. So I do feel, because that's the only thing I can muster right now, based on the fear, like yesterday, all I could come to the conclusion was, it can't be that many that are, it's a very loud portion of the left, but people didn't listen during the only, like with the propaganda and the things that were being said by the media and online mainstream outlets and magazines and even Christian magazines. I can say they were ignored and we elected Donald J. Trump. So their voices, the media, the propaganda was ignored. So that gave me some comfort. In that it's not as bad as, well, I still think it's as bad, but I don't think the voices are as many. I hope there are some, there have been some that have been shown up online to say they can't continue to be associated with that group. If this is what they want to undo the Constitution. And it showed that they're willing to kill people with, it's okay to kill people with guns if those people believe in the Second Amendment. Does that make sense? That is a Marxist mind game that they're being radicalized in. Their mind is not their own at this point in time, I don't believe. And the only two people in my family who are like this are people, the two in my family who have not accepted Christ. And one, accepts it to an extent. He went to a Christian school, and the only one. And he's a good person, and he wants to be a mediator. He doesn't want to see it as bad as it is, or see my point, because my point also is from an accumulation of over 60 years of experience. So take that, and I've never been this scared for my country in my life. So there are times when we need this direction. This is the time. Donald Trump is here for a reason, and he is this card, and we need this so badly. Because we need agreed upon ways of help, of being together in the world so that we help and not harm each other. He needs us to consider what rules, conscious or unconscious, are governing our lives. Accepting his rule or learning how to stand up to him in opposition to the establishment and his controls could be precisely the gift you need. But killing his associates, killing a good ruler's associates, even if you agree with some of his decisions, is not the way to go. And planning more of this and having children wishing that on our president, he was duly elected and he is our president. So people want him, our vice president, anybody associated with them, anybody who's a supporter of them executed. They want a banana republic. They want everything in chaos. It won't be so nice. We won't be able to even probably get enough to eat. You think it's tough now? When this violence takes over, go study what happens when Marxists take over in a violent fashion like this. Because it is the start of it. And we need a strong leader to stop it. I don't know how that's going to happen. I have no idea. But it needs to. Stop funding schools. Stop the public education. Give us vouchers. I wouldn't send if I had the choice, I would send my kid to a Christian school if I could afford it. They all would have went to a better school. A better performing school. I think that would be good for everybody. And that was shown like in DC, how the families were so wanted these vouchers and they were taken away by the Democrats, the vouchers. So that is a very interesting card, the Emperor. So it's about structure, discipline, and authority. And after yesterday's restless night, the Emperor locks it down, strong foundations, boundaries, and command. That is the vibration right now in the collective. At best, this is about creating order. At worst, it can tip into rigidity or control. I think it's going to be hopefully creating order. And I don't know how President Trump is going to do that and his administration. It's been really hard for him because people are openly violating the Constitution with open borders and sanctuary cities and not following the law. So there's just open rebellion by the state. So the challenge is the Queen of Pentacles. So we have a challenge. The Queen of Pentacles. The challenge is nurturing abundance and practical self-care within those structures. The Queen of Pentacles knows how to balance worldly needs and with compassion. But it's a challenge. It may feel like responsibilities and material concerns are overwhelming, or that control. The Emperor is at odds with the care. So that is, it is at odds right now. I am too stressed out to find care. I really am really, really stressed out about this. And yesterday it was all, I think today may be a little bit better. So the challenge is there, but I think, I don't know. The cards don't show that. Let's go forward. So it's a challenge, but we could overcome the challenge. So then we have the outcome card for the day. And it is the Ten of Swords. I don't know why. Usually my cards aren't all blown out like this. So this is the Ten of Swords. We can't even read the card. This is an ending card. Something must give. Old cycles, betrayals, or the final straw come into focus. It is painful, but it clears the way forward. What tends to free the paths for renewal. What ends today frees the path for renewal. Okay, I don't know what's going to end today, but hopefully something happens today where we can get on with some kind of unity and unite on how we want our country to go forward. And then the hidden card, the monthly card, the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords, anxiety underpins everything. Fear of failure, regret, overthinking may drive decisions. The Ten of Swords outcome suggests that the fears, 9, do manifest in some way, but it's closure, not endless dread. Let's hope that's the case. So our clarifying cards are the Knight of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Cups, Crow, from the Crow deck. Knight of Cups amidst endings and control struggles. The Knight of Cups brings softness, romantic, visionary, emotionally expressive energy, moves through the cracks of rigid structures. Excuse me. Children, do not smoke. Guidance. Don't lose touch with heart while navigating authority or endings. Don't lose your heart. I'm asking people on all sides, don't lose heart. Don't lose heart in our country, in the Constitution. That's really sad to me. People want it all gone, all destroyed. It took from the Magna Carta to get this far. And I know they mucked with it, and let's unmuck it. And get back to where we all want to be. Safe, secure, happy families, happy homes. And we need corporations under control, bringing manufacturing back to America for national security and for jobs. And jobs are national security because people are crazy without jobs, something to do. And Donald Trump's trying to do that, and people still do not care. They just think he's just a Nazi because that's what they've been told. So, Clarifier 2 echoes the monthly theme, focus, skill, dedication, even when cycles close or fear rises. Steady effort and craftsmanship are the way forward. And the weekly anchor is the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, the little beavers over here. Teamwork and collaboration. Plus today's Hierophant, the Emperor lean heavily on authority figures or the system. The weekly anchor reminds us, don't do it alone. Seek allies and partners who build with you. Monthly theme was the Eight of Pentacles, directly echoed in today's Clarifier. The theme of September is steady effort, even in endings. Ten of Swords, it is dedication to the craft that carries us. Monthly lesson was the Hanged Woman, a call to new perspectives. Today's Hierophant, Emperor energy, risk, rigidity. The Hanged Woman reminds us, pause, reframe, surrender, don't get trapped in dogma. Monthly challenge is the Nine of Swords. Appearing again today as a hidden card, anxiety and sleepless nights remain the shadow. So that was our monthly challenge, it's the Nine of Swords, and it's not a pretty card. Anxiety and sleepless nights remain in the shadow of September. The Ten of Swords shows us how to break through that cycle. Let what's ending end. So, shows us to break that cycle. Let what's ending end. So I believe that this is not the ending of America First. Trump calls it Make America Great Again. I just say America First, and we will be great again. If we put our needs and our country's needs and families first. Immigrants may have their problems, but we can help them better when they're in their own countries and with their own cultures. Because the culture clashes is something that we just don't need right now. We just don't have the energy, the strength, or the resources for that. In some countries, amnesty is necessary because of what's going on in their countries, and those would be Palestinians. But still, again, would be better off trying to find Palestinians' homes first, trying to stop the violence in the region and finding them areas of refuge in Muslim countries, because the conflict could lead into it's not safe for countries that have such strong belief systems, other cultures. So you have to be very, very careful who comes over here. It just can't be open borders. And then because they hate us, and we know that, and there's some reasons why we say, okay, yeah, that's valid. So why would you say that that is a safe thing to allow open borders? Okay. So going forward, the monthly gift too was new learning and grounded opportunities. Today's Knight of Cups and Eight of Pentacles harmonize with the gift. Keep your heart open and keep practicing small steps. Create breakthroughs. And if it's just like listening to others and stuff, it's like just small little steps. The monthly outcome for the month of September is the Queen of Cups, emotional steadiness, compassion, and intuitive mastery. Today's Queen of Pentacles, the challenge, shows where we wobble. But the Queen of Cups is the highest octave, nurture with emotional intelligence, not just material responsibility. So today, where we had the Queen of Pentacles, the monthly Queen of Cups, and the monthly outcome is higher, because she's not just material responsibility, but also emotional intelligence. So the monthly hidden force with the Seven of Swords. And the monthly, I didn't mark them out. Next month I'm going to mark out like I started doing on the dailies, where you can see what the cards are, what position they are in. So here's our weeklies, and here's the little, that's today's. This is the second week of September, and wow. It's like, what's going to happen in the fourth week when we have the devil? First week was the Wheel of Fortune. Second week we have to work together. Four of Wands, then the devil. Oh my goodness. Okay, so see, here's the Hanged Woman in a second. So, and that was the Hanged Woman was our monthly theme. Not a good one for the theme. And neither was the monthly challenge, the swords, which we had today is the hidden. So, the monthly hidden force is the Seven of Swords, and the trickster shadow still lingers. With today's Seven of Swords outcome, some illusions or betrayals may be exposed and ended. I don't know, this is a tough month. I didn't think it would be so literal. So sad. Okay, so it's really hard. So monthly clarifiers, the Nine of Cups, fulfillment is still possible. So we still have hope. Fulfillment is still possible. And I know there's always hope. We have a spirit of hope. We have the spirit of, we just want eternal life. That's in our heart. That's what we want. Even amid endings, the wish card promises satisfaction if we align with integrity. We all need to align with integrity to really know what we believe, who we want to align with, and know, not want to know, like don't find out where you're, where people stand in your life. The monthly Schumann resonance anchor. This is the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords root from yesterday still echoes here. Today, the Knight of Swords raw energy has crystallized into structures, Emperor, Hierophant, and consequences, the Ten of Swords. The cycle is clear. So, yeah, this Schumann resonant card was one of the big ones, and it was the Knight of Swords. It is from this deck that, has the huge cards. I don't even know if I have it still. But it is big, and it was the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords also came up on 9/11 as a foundation. And I had, wow, this is coming back around again. So the Knight of Swords I had in that spread, I had put that card, a foundational card, to Charlie Kirk's energy of being a Knight of Swords. And it was really a good summation of him, a youthful summation. And the thing that was sad about it is that it said that this energy is like a flash in the pan. So like almost his political career was ended short, a flash in the pan. And he may have been young in his leadership abilities and a knight, but he was destined for greater, much greater, maybe even to be an emperor like Donald Trump. So they're killing our future leaders based on their constitutional beliefs and their religious beliefs. Now, if that does not rock you to your core, that party, that group, I'm not going to say it's everybody in that party, but you're going to have to disassociate with that party. I would. I am. I mean, I was a part of that party at one time when I was younger. However, I changed, and even now I still would like different. I would like to be more of a libertarian and have more libertarian candidates. But the coalition started to happen, and you've seen that the libertarians started separating and going towards Trump, because that's how the Republican Party started. Is little coalitions came in and said, yeah, we have to change this uniparty because nothing's getting done with the two. So it's really an interesting time, albeit stressful at times. So planetary happenings, we remain in the eclipse corridor. September 7th, we had the Pisces lunar eclipse. September 21st, we'll have the Virgo solar eclipse. And right now, Sun and Mercury are near the South Node in Virgo, unraveling outdated identities, old thought structures. This mirrors the Hierophant and the Emperor and the Ten of Swords dynamic endings of old authority and rigid systems. Now, I don't really think that this old authority is ending. In fact, I think it's going to be different. I think President Trump is different than the old authority we had. I think he's clearer, better, and more action-oriented, a doer. Actually doing the job, not just a suit, not just a puppet. And that scares some people. So, and that's okay, but it's not okay. Feelings are okay. Thoughts are okay. Words are okay. Public executions, not okay. Cheering them on, not okay. You can't say you are chill and then talk about all these horrendous plans you have in your head to kill us all, to kill everybody that doesn't agree with you. That is wrong. People need to be told it is wrong. If you're a mother or a father, you need to tell these people it's wrong. Sister, brother, coworker. I'm willing to risk it all to tell it that these people are wrong. I have 2 family members. They are wrong. And they're going to hear it from me. They're going to hear all of it, a tirade. Especially if they live under my roof. My roof. I'm the queen here. Okay, so, and a collective question is, what systems do we outgrow and what new order are we building? What new order are we building? Are we going to kill each other over differences? We have to come together. And I do think that the business person, the win-wins Donald Trump is about, we can come together. But people have to stop being deranged and propagandized and radicalized. To think the Republican Party is evil, fascist, I don't know, there's all sorts of words, Islamophobic, racist, I don't know. Okay, so today's guidance is about facing endings with clarity. So if you're facing ending family relationships, work relationships, relationships where you've lived, associations, it's tough. It's tough for me that it's come to this. The Hierophant and the Emperor ask for discipline and structure. But the Queen of Pentacles rightly warns us not to lose compassion in the process. But the way people are feeling, it's like this stuff has to stop, and it's like almost like how do we do that without like stomping and hurting and harming others? But their dreams must be squashed. That's never going to happen in America under our Constitution. We will always have our Second Amendment. We will always mourn this type of behavior, and as a national, it's just a national tragedy that this happened, that someone was killed, executed in public. God's doing something, because this was public, shown publicly. He could have been executed in his house, at a grocery store, somewhere. But no, public execution. At a public speaking at a college campus where children are being radicalized. That is all I can understand. I started going back to school, and I'm some kind of major macro aggressor just for saying things that I believe. And that's how school become. And I'm trying to do it now in a way that I can show my beliefs and systems in a way that can bring others aboard. Like my tarot readings, I'm not doing this in any evil way, but I want to show you that God knows. These cards are just me speaking with God in spirit. And God knows what the collective needs. God knows what we need. He knows what the church needs. And we are the church. Even if you aren't in it or not, you are part of the collective. And this collective has to make choices in who they're going to align with. And I don't say you have to be born again to be in my party or be in this group. And in fact, there's a lot of people in the group. I'm a libertarian, and I'm in that group because that's the only group I can align with. And my conscience. But you're telling me that my conscience is no good, so we all need to die. And we're going to assassinate your leaders. And we're going to teach our children hate. And they're going to cheer and want Donald Trump dead too. That's the state of affairs. And it's really sad. So, the Ten of Swords shows something completing, painful but necessary. The Nine of Swords, anxiety is real. I'm feeling it. You're probably feeling it. It was the monthly card. So, but the Eight of Pentacles Clarifier says, keep working, one step at a time. The Knight of Cups reminds us to keep our heart alive in the middle of discipline and endings. Because when I was harsh, following my feelings. I know my favorite uncle, he never disciplined me in that way, but I heard him a few times discipline his own children that way. And they knew, even through that harsh discipline, that it was needful. They still loved him, and they knew they were wrong in that discipline. And as the older you get, you realize, gosh, if I wouldn't have had that discipline, where would I be? And maybe that's the problem now. Our children haven't had discipline. It's bad to be mean to them. I'm thinking, no, it's not. Because the world's going to be mean to them. And they're going to have harsh realities if you've never said no to them. And they've always had their way. Not having to live through disagreements of opinion and things like that. So our daily affirmation is, I honor the endings that clear my path. I ground myself in an effort and compassion, balancing discipline with heart. Fear may whisper, but truth and steady work carry me forward. So with that in mind, I will start doing my work. I hope you're doing yours. And I hope all is well with you and that you continue to explore the issues and to understand you need to know where people stand in your life and what you have to do to align better with your future. Okay, I will talk to you later. Over and out.